Hello, this is Nicole with Angelic Therapy and Healing, bringing you a general reading for the week of Monday, May 29th through Sunday, June 4th. First off, to all of those here in the States that are celebrating Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day. Hopefully you are all enjoying this time with your family and friends kicking off summer. I do encourage you to take the time to remember and celebrate those who've paid the ultimate sacrifice for our country when we are enjoying these festivities because of them. So may God bless them and their families and loved ones that they've left behind. For those of you that are new to this channel, welcome. Glad to have you here. Hopefully this will help you in your journey. For those of you that have been with us for a while, thank you. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all your feedback. I love hearing from you guys. Even if I'm behind in responding and getting back to you, I do read all your comments and do try to get back to all of you. And I love stories that you share, how you show that these are helping you, relating to your story, and all the feedback. So thank you so much for that. We are, as I mentioned in your astrological readings, we are currently at 9,000 subscribers. When we hit 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to randomly pull 3 people who will be receiving 15-minute free readings from me. So I know in someone's astrological reading, somebody had made a comment about not being able to see clear back to your first subscribers. If that's true, if any of you are tech savvy, let me know. I haven't had a chance to do research. I did do some initial potential research, and I found a video, I think it was posted like 2 years ago, from someone that walked you through, and I haven't actually done it yet, but walked you through the steps to pull all of your subscribers. And on his video, he said that you can see all of your subscribers. So before I started putting that in your guys' readings, I wanted to make sure I could do it. And per his instructions, you can, but if it has changed over the past year to 2 years, if any of you know that, let me know. And if there's any way to outsmart the system, if that's not going to work, let me know that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We are going to be using today Doreen Virtue's and Radley Valentine's Fairy Tarot cards. We'll also be pulling Angel Answer card at the end. And I have prayed over and shuffled my Gypsy Oracle cards if we need any clarifiers along the way. I have never used my Gypsy cards with you guys, so this should be a good thing. I think you'll like them. I haven't used them because they're not really bright. And you know, I like bright flowers. I like bright colors. But when pulling the cards today, the angel said that that's what we're going to be using. So that's what we'll use. Now, let me make sure you guys can see these. Almost. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what we have this week is we have the situation, the foundation, you know, what led to this situation, lessons learned, or lessons we're supposed to be learning from the situation, what we are unaware of, something that's unknown, and then the recommendations, and, you know, being able to move forward, what they're recommending from here. Okay. Look at it right off the bat. You have 2 major arcanas. Major arcanas are things that are big, they're huge, they're life changers, game changers. They're also things that are destined. We don't really have that much control over them. And then we have the minor arcanas, the pip cards. Those are everyday things. They're smaller, you know, daily operations in life. We do have more control over those things because they're not destined, they're not out of our control. So we can change those things. You do have 3 things that you can change, you have control over, which is good because this is what you're unaware of, what the recommendations are for you, and you do have control over those. This is a situation for most that right now you're on the cusp of making a decision, making a choice that's going to change your life forever. It's going to change it for the better. You got this rainbow up here. Because 14 boiled down as 5. 5 is all about change. They're trying to change something in your life. So some of you, you're trying to make a decision that is going to forever change your life. It's going to forever shift things, but there is a lot of destiny tied to that, a lot of fate. and you're fighting it, you're pushing back on it. But it is good. It's actually going to shift things for the better, because those of you that are in this situation, you've been struggling for a very long time. For some of you, for years. It's like things just don't work. The things that you want, the things that you desire, you cannot make them manifest. No matter how hard you try, it's just not working. But that's because they're taking you a new direction, and they're doing this big life change of yours to get you moving forward, to get you on the path that you're meant to be on, to get you those things that you desire, that you have actually been trying for years to have. It's just, you've been trying an avenue that it wasn't the right avenue for you. It wasn't the right person, wasn't the right career field, wasn't the right company. But the nice thing is you've got God and angels, and they're stepping in. Destiny's stepping in. They're trying to help you. They're trying to help you with this change. It's a big change. Now, for most of you, this is actually love related, because we have 2 2s. So for the situation, you have 2 of spring. For the foundation, what has led to this situation, you have 14, which is balance. Lessons learned, you have 0, the dreamer. What is unknown, which you're unaware of, you have 2 of winter. And the recommendations, you have 7 of summer. But you have 2 2s. You have 2 of spring, 2 of winter. And 2s are all about partnership, balance, duality, sharing, diplomacy. They can also speak of, a period where we are in waiting, where we'll have some partial success, but more things, ultimate success will be revealed later. They also speak of reconciliation, reunion. So for some of you, this is related to love and a second chance with a destined love. And 2 2s are about harmonious change. Going through this big change is going to bring you the things that you desire. There also, when you have 2 2s, it speaks of communication, the need to make a choice, to make a decision. For many, it's a complex decision that you're wrestling with. You're struggling with making the decision because some not confident with the choices you made, the choice you're trying to make. But when you see 2 2s, you know that when you make a decision, you will finally get the relief. Because for many of you, this decision that you've been trying to make, you see him, he's stuck between 2 instruments. There's 2 people. You've been trying to make this decision for a very long time. It's made some of you sick with worry. Some of you are kind of like, oh my gosh, when's this ever going to be over? It will be over when you make a decision. And that's what 2 2s also speaks of. You will get relief, you will get the happiness, you will get the things you desire when you make a decision. And it's funny, because that's what your reading's about. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Okay. Could see my job here's done, but it's not. Let's delve in a little bit deeper. Okay, so your first card. Your situation is 2 of spring. And at the bottom, it says a bright future manifested through hard work and creativity, partnering with others who share your dreams, great progress being made. And this is really all about the opportunity to have a wonderful new start. In traditional tarot, this would be a wand card. Wands are all about fire, taking action, doing things, making things happen. And this card speaks about making choices now about your short-term future, your long-term future. About knowing that it's safe to make those choices and make those decisions. It's safe to take those chances, take that leap of faith. It's also a card that, speaks about, because for many of you, you've been contemplating this decision for a while. So you've done the evaluating, the reviewing, the analyzing it. But this is speaking of, okay, it's now time to move forward. Take action quickly, move forward quickly, because when you do that, you will have more opportunities open up for you. Some of you, you're just stuck. So for some of you, because you haven't made this decision yet, you are stuck in all other areas of your life. So for those of you that this is love related, you're feeling stuck at work, your finances are feeling stuck, you're feeling like your personal relationships with your friends are stuck. For some of you, maybe you're trying to decide whether or not to venture out in a new career field. Do I stay in my old career field? Do I not? But everything else is just kind of stuck. Love life stuck. Money stuck. But you're just stuck. Because they're trying to get you to take action, move forward. Because when you do, everything else will become unstuck. And for most of you, this is about, majority of you, this is about love. I'm trying to get you guys something general. I know they've been talking about love a lot lately, but for most of you, it is love. It is about a partnership between two people, mutual dreams, mutually beneficially rewarding relationship. Two people who are truly on the same page. You see how they're building the ship together? They're in sync. They're on the same page. They're building something together. They're building something beautiful. So many of you are trying to make a decision about moving forward with someone, building a life with that person. For some of you, building a family with that person. But it is a very bright future. Where you really can create something beautiful. You have all these flowers around. For many of you, it's an opportunity to build something that will last a lifetime, that will bring you joy, bring you the things that you desire. You've got all these little fireflies down here at the bottom. So it's something that will also be like magical. Kind of like, ooh, Mufasa, this is so good. Ooh, just makes me feel good. That's what you have the opportunity to create. You really do. So for those of you that this is love, you do have the love of a lifetime here. You do have the opportunity to forge forward with them into something that is going to bring your dreams to reality. Going to help you finally have those things that you've been wanting and desiring for so long. And it will be magical. Because they're saying for some of you, you are really doubting it. Because they're saying for some of you, you know that, okay, like he's totally staring that direction. Like, okay, I know. I can't deny that this person, I feel drawn to this person. I feel connected to this person. I even feel, for some of you, feel fated, like, okay, this is the person. This is the one. This is the meant to be. But you're fearful. But the good thing is that recently you have started to come into balance, because this card is the foundation. This is what has led to this situation, led to this opportunity for you. And it is a major arcana, and it's balance. And at the bottom it says, take everyone's input into consideration, merge viewpoints to create a better solution, take your time, there's no need to rush. And this card's all about being open to compromise, cooperation, finding the perfect solution, the perfect resolution that works for everyone. You know, something that's a win-win, all around win-win. But it also is a card that talks about taking that time to reflect and find inner balance. You know, meditating, going for a walk, going inward, taking a step back from people, from situations, to think about it, to evaluate it. To reflect, to come up with new solutions, new ideas, ways to move forward, to get the things that we want, the things that we desire. Being open to new ideas, new ways of doing things. Because for some of you, this is a completely different way of doing things. So for some of you that this is love, this is, I want to say uncharted territory. It's someone that many of you already know this person, but they're different from your past. They're different from your exes. There's just something that's different from them. New adventure, uncharted territories. For some of you, you've been so single for so long, you're afraid to be in a relationship, to actually have someone in your space. So again, it's something new, big change. But an exciting change, a blessed change, a good change, something that is going to be filled with success. Now, when you look at this card, she has liquid coming from two directions. He has almost like milk, and this is supposed to represent iron coming into this chalice, into this cup. And it talks about, truly balance. And the red is signifying, feminine energy. And the white's representing the masculine force. And that when the two of them come together, they can create beautiful things. They can create life. They can create happiness. But they also create balance. This speaks of being balanced with ourselves, being balanced with others. But you have to have balance. We have to have balance in all things in life. Okay. So, for some of you, you have this potential partner, this love interest, and it didn't move forward, or it fell apart because there was no balance at all. For some of you, it was because your emotions were not balanced. Because balancing the feminine, masculine energy it's all about doing something. It's that fire. It's that taking action. Feminine energy is more emotional, connected to our feelings, connected to our intuition. So for some, you intuitively felt connected to this person, but this person, they brought up too much emotion in you. You felt things that you didn't want to feel. For some of you, it brought up things from the past that you needed to heal. For some of you, it brought up emotions that, okay, I don't want to feel deep love, deep connection for someone like this, because the last time I felt love and connection with someone like this, it ended horribly wrong. And if I open myself up to that again, it's going to be another train wreck, and I can't deal with another disaster like that in my life. I just can't do that. So instead, I'm going to push that person away, and I'm going to jump into sexual escapades with a bunch of other people, or I'm going to turn to alcohol. I'm going to turn to something else to fill that void in an extreme. So for some, that puts you out of balance in a couple areas. So for some of you, you're totally out of balance because you were not allowing yourself to feel your emotions. We all have masculine and feminine in us. That's what brings us into balance. You have to be in balance. You have to be able to feel your emotions. Because if you have someone, say you have a woman, and she's all emotional, and all she wants to talk about is feelings and emotions, but she really can't ground herself in life. She can't get things done. She can't take the action. She can't get things done at work. She can't get things done at her home. She'll be a hot mess. Or if you have a man who's totally disconnected from his emotions, refuses to feel emotions, refuses to have any emotions. Instead, I'm just going to focus on work all the time, focus on making money all the time. I might have sex with some people when they come by, but there's no depth, there's no connection, because I don't want to feel emotions. He's going to be cold. He's going to seem cold-hearted. It's going to leave him lacking. They're both lacking for different reasons, because they haven't come into a state of feeling whole on the inside. They haven't balanced those two sides. We all have to balance those two sides. So for those of you in this situation, you now are able to have this situation. For some of you, this is a second chance with someone. And the reason you can have that is because you have now finally balanced yourself. So for those of you that are the female, maybe you're so emotional, you're able to get, so for some of you, if this is a divine, so say this is a twin flame relationship, totally focused on him, having a hard time moving forward with your spiritual practice with those things that you're supposed to be focusing on, you've now shifted your perspective. You've gotten out of that female emotional side. You've gotten more balanced in your doing, you're creating things, you're taking action, you've taken more control. You've balanced yourself now. So now that you balanced yourself, you now can have this love, this partnership that you desire, because you finally have come into balance. It's essential to have that. For those of you that are males, masculine, you have come into balance. So You've taken the time from working all the time to reflect. You have taken the time from being in multiple relationships and other behaviors, activities. So for some it's drinking. For some it could be drugs. It could be substances. For some it is other relationships, other women. I'm getting a lot of like online activities. So it could be online pornography. Could be online flirtations, relationships. But too much, I mean, we all have our vices, we all have things that we do, but too much on that side. And the reason was not wanting to feel your emotions, not wanting to heal those things from the past that have kept you from wanting to open up to the emotional side and open up to the intuition. But they're congratulating you because you have finally taken that time. You've really taken that time to go inward and to heal and think, okay, well, why do I keep being pulled back to this person? Why, no matter what I do, I can't get rid of this person? I try to disconnect from them. I try to not talk to them. I try to date other people. You finally took the time to pause and reflect and do some healing and open yourself up to feeling those emotions, to allow yourself to be balanced, to be whole on the inside. And they're saying for many of you, you finally have allowed yourself and you've done the heart healing so that you can be open to love. Because this is a gift in love that they've been trying to give you, that you've just pushed away. They're pointing out this line because lions, they just roar in anger. So for some of you, it's almost like you were a lion. You were just roaring in anger, pushing that away, going to anything else that you could. It could be work or any of the other things. Because when we aren't in balance, we will look at other things to fill that void. But they're congratulating you because you may have roared like a lion, you may have pushed it, but you've actually stopped, you've taken the time, you've reflected, you've brought yourself back into balance. You are now allowing yourself to open up to love. You're now allowing yourself, and you're being open and receptive to those emotions, to having a true, deep, genuine connection with someone. But now that you are in balance, now that you are open to love, you're open to those emotions, you've done the healing, you've done the reflection. They're saying for some of you, you've had to do a lot of reflection on relationships as far as why don't relationships work out? Why every time I try does it fail? Why every time I'm with someone I feel like there's not a real connection? It's not deep. What is it that's lacking? What is it that I need to work on? But in that reflection, contemplation, you've done a lot of healing, which has ultimately allowed you to love yourself and opened you up to love with someone else. And for many of you, it's a big change. Because for many of you, you have been guarded, you've been single, you've been, by yourself for a very long time. But now that you have come into balance, you're ready to share your life with someone. You are now ready to come into partnership. You're now ready to build something with someone. But you had to go through all this work. And for some of you, it was grueling work to prepare for this. But they're congratulating you on that because you've done that. Now, as far as the lesson that's to be learned by this situation, you have a major arcana, 0, the dreamer. And at the bottom it says, embrace your true purpose, begin a new adventure, trust yourself. And this card, it's the very first card of all the major arcanas. It really is about taking that first step to make our dreams come true. So she's venturing out, she's getting ready to go up this path, this golden path. It talks about how when we can take that leap of faith, we will find true happiness. We also will find the confidence. Like sometimes when we're getting ready to take a first step, we're hesitant to take the first step because we lack that confidence. We're like, ooh, what if this goes bad? Oh, what if I'm making the wrong choice? What if they're not the right person? What if I'm supposed to be with someone else? Or, what if this isn't the right job? What if I'm supposed to be, pursuing and just trying to move up the chain in my current position? What if I shouldn't be changing career? So we'll lack that confidence. But when we take that first step, it boosts our confidence. We're like, oh yeah, I'm on the right path. I'm heading to my dreams coming true. I'm heading to this palace on the hillside. I'm heading there. And we feel good about it. But it does take faith to take that first step. Especially when it comes to things that are destined, because a lot of times when we just feel pushed, like maybe we're being pushed to start our own business, or we're being pushed to move into a completely different career field than we've been in our entire life. It is totally different than what we've ever done or ever imagined doing. Or we're deciding, okay, I'm going to embark on this relationship. I feel pushed to it. I feel drawn to it. But it's something that we can't deny. Be it a person, be it a job. It's just, you cannot deny it. Your soul is shoving you in that direction. When you are destined for something that great, it's the career of a lifetime. It's the business of a lifetime. It is the love of a lifetime. You feel like it's out of your control because you feel like no matter how much you dodge taking these first steps, God and the angels are going to keep giving you a kick, shoving you in the right direction. But when it's something that big of a change in our life, because for those of you in this situation, this isn't small, this is huge. This really is a big deal. So it could be for some of you career, where you are totally venturing into a new career field. You're starting your own business. It is something totally uncharted. And for some of you, it is moving forward with the love of a lifetime. But whether it's work or love, this is something that is 100% destined. But when it's destined, we often have a hard time. And we'll fight it because we can feel deep down that this is a huge change. So we will often lack on the faith. We're afraid of, okay, I feel this is the right direction, but I'm afraid. I'm really worried. We aren't believing in ourselves. We don't have the confidence. We have a lot of fears that will keep bubbling up, and we'll let our fears keep us stuck, even though we can see, okay, God is like about to hog tie me and drag me in that direction if I don't get on board. And even though we can see it, we can have tons of signs and synchronicities, but we're terrified. We are terrified of taking that first step and moving forward, following our heart's desire, trying to get those things that we've wanted, we've prayed for, we've desired our entire life. But those things, that's what we're being guided to. That's our life purpose. Those are the things that will bring us joy, bring us happiness. It's a transformation that will bring about everything that we want in our life. It's a fresh start. This is a card that also talks about, when we have big goals, big changes in our life, to share that with people that are close with us. Because if we can verbalize our intentions, we can express those things, that can kind of give us a little boost in faith and confidence that we need just to get moving forward. Because it's that first step that's hardest. You can just take that first step, it gets easier. But when we're fearful, it's terrifying to take that first step. But if we can voice with friends, family, someone that's very close with us, okay, here's what I want, here's what I'm planning to do, take that step for that big change, that real change that's really going to bring about our heart's desires, we can have that fresh start. We can have the beginning of the adventure of a lifetime. But it really is embracing that adventure of a lifetime, embracing that new beginning, taking that risk, embracing our true purpose. So for many of you, this lesson is intended for you to step into your power. There's this cardinal that you can see right there. And hopefully you guys, cardinals represent power, strength, courage, being able to persevere, to get through these things, overcome those hurdles. You see she's being led by the cardinal. So for many of you, this lesson, which is a big life lesson, for some of you, this is your biggest lesson in this lifetime, is for you to have the courage to step into your personal power, your personal strength, to have faith, to venture on fearlessly. And for some of you, see how there's this dog here? Dogs are all about loyalty, unconditional love, companionship. Like a dog's gonna love you no matter what. That's like unconditional love and companionship. You can come home after a bad day at work and you can kind of be unhappy and keep it to yourself and really not cheerfully greeting your dog, but your dog is going to come up and their tail's going to be wagging. They're going to be so happy to see you. Oh my gosh, I love you. I am so glad that you're home. I've been thinking about you all day. That's what dogs are. They're your best friend. You can go to them with anything. Happy, sad, doesn't matter. They're going to be joyfully waiting for you. For some of you, this is a lesson in loyalty. For some of you, it's being loyal to yourself. Because they're saying for some of you, you have given your loyalty to the wrong person. So for those of you that this is a love thing, in the past, you were very loyal and faithful to someone. They were not misguided, misappropriated loyalty. You were very faithful and loving. It wasn't requited. You were given this love, unconditional love, not requited. So your lesson is to they're saying for some of you to be able to, because for those of you, so for some of you, you were in a relationship, and you were in this relationship for a long time. For some of you, it could have been marriage. There was this relationship. You were very loyal to that person. You were very loving to that person. You were like this faithful dog. But they didn't feel the same. They weren't returning that love. For some of you, even though you felt like a dog that was dropped off at the shelter, you would repeatedly escape and you would wander back to that partner. And you would feel beat down and for some of you feeling like discarded because it wasn't the right person. It wasn't the right path for you, which is why you're alone now. You're not with that person, but that's because your loyalty was with someone. They're saying for some of you, this lesson was tied to being loyal to yourself, because for some of you, they were saying it's like a dog that's been beat on, discarded, unloved, unappreciated. That person made you feel so bad about yourself that your lesson is to be loyal to yourself, to love yourself, to have the confidence to move on. And for some of you, it's going to be the confidence of and learning the lesson of placing your loyalty with the right person. So for some of you that this was the wrong person. So you were in this relationship and it was a lesson to be learned about love, true love, requited love, placing your loyalty with someone who will return that to you, where it's a requited love, where you can be that loyal, loving, faithful companion with someone and they're going to be the same for you. But you had to go through this life lesson with someone that was not, so that when you do go down the path with the person, and for many of you, you have found that person. So for many of you, they're saying that this person that you found, you've been having trouble taking that first step forward because of things that have happened in the past. But you've learned that lesson and you're ready to move forward now. And it does require having that courage, that stepping into your own power and faithfully and fearlessly taking the steps forward. But for all of you in this situation, you've had to learn lessons in love. And for most, you've had to learn those lessons in love have helped you come to a place of loving yourself, knowing that you deserve better, knowing that you are worthy of those things. Because sometimes if we don't feel worthy of something, maybe we do have this job of a lifetime, but we're hesitant to move forward. Or maybe we keep having this thought to shift career fields completely, but we doubt ourselves because we're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to succeed at that. I just, because maybe of how we were made to feel as a child, that we don't feel we're going to be good enough. or we feel that, okay, well, we'll be a failure. So we don't take that step down something we're destined for, this greatness that we're destined for. But that's just a lesson to learn that we are worthy of that, to learn that we are deserving of that, to learn that this beautiful blessing, this new beginning, that is destined for us. And they're congratulating you because everyone in this situation, you have finally gotten there. You have finally learned your lesson. You're finally able to move forward. You have finally taken back your power. You're finally ready to give your loyalty. See how this dog's almost like pointing down the path? So for some of you, you're ready to walk down that path and give your love, give your loyalty, your companionship to someone worthy of it. You see, she's carrying a rose. But even if it's a situation for work, be it love, you are ready. You have stepped away. You've released those things that are not good for you. You have gone through everything to heal yourself. You have now come back into a place of loving yourself. Step back into your power. Now, what you're not aware of is you have 2 of winter. And at the bottom it says, indecision is holding you back. Make the choice that's best for you rather than trying to please others. Feeling trapped between the intellect and the emotional. So, this card is all about, it's time now for you to make a decision. That you've been waiting too long, you've been indecisive for too long, you've been wishy-washy for too long. For some of you, you've been overanalyzing things for too long. And you're trying to decide between 2 things. 2 jobs. Just keep working for an employer or another. But for most of you, you're trying to decide between either 2 lovers, 2 love interests, or you're trying to decide to move forward with someone or to remain single. But you've been stuck in this state for a very, very long time because it's a complex decision. And when we're making a big decision or something that's complex, that is going to change our life, it can be challenging. But they're saying for those of you in the situation, you've had a lot of intuitive information, a lot of nudging, a lot of synchronicity, a lot of signs. Even though you've been torn trying to make that decision, they have given you enough to help you make that decision with confidence. Now, traditional tarot, this would be a sword. And swords are all about, communications, but oftentimes it's about communicating internally, being stuck in our own mind, being stuck in our own heads. And that's where many of you have been. Some of you, you've actually been ignoring this. You've been trying to push this decision away for a very long time, but it just keeps popping up, just keeps coming back. But for some of you, it's been overwhelming your thoughts. For some of you, you've been so worried about making this decision, it's actually started like you're making you feel sick. Because again, this is such a big decision that many things in your life have come to a standstill because you have got to make a decision about this. This is a big deal. This is what will unlock every other area of your life. But many of you are stuck in your head. You're feeling trapped. Some of you are feeling trapped because it is a decision about love. For some of you, it is trying to decide between 2 people. And some of you, it's trying to decide, okay, do I move forward with this person who I can tell I can build something beautiful with? Do I really open up my heart, open up my emotions, allow myself to have that true deep connection with someone? Or do I stay stuck in this sadness, this isolation? Because they're saying for some of you, you have been alone. You may have dated people off and on, but you've been alone for years. So, and you've also been emotionally alone. So you have not, even though you may have been dating other people, you would not allow them emotionally in. So what you likely had happen for those of you in this situation, you may date someone for a very brief time and it would just fall apart. And then the next person you would date for a brief time and it would fall apart. And during your reflection time of looking at that, you've realized that, okay, it keeps falling apart because I won't let them in. I won't allow myself to feel true connection, true love, because you've kept yourselves closed off to that. See how he's got his hands folded in front of him? He's just very closed off. He looks very sad. So you're stuck. Okay, do I go for this beautiful glittery instrument, or do I go back here around the corner in the dark with that instrument, continuing to feel sad, lonely, as though something is missing? But what you're not aware of is as soon as you make this decision, you'll move forward in all areas. Because everyone in this situation, be it love, be it work, although for most this is love related, you are stuck in every area of your life. And some of you are starting to get very upset and distraught because you're just feeling like, oh my gosh, God, why are you torturing me? Why? If you love me so much, why do you keep me stuck in misery? Why am I struggling everywhere in my life? You are struggling in everywhere in your life because you have got to make a decision about this. As soon as you make a decision about this, everything else will open up. That's it. Everything else will open up. Because this decision is truly divinely led, it truly is. For most of you, this is actually a gift from God. This is a blessing. This is something that you were destined for. This is your life purpose. This is what you are here for. So for some of you, this is the love of a lifetime because you are here to help others. You're here to show them what love truly is. Okay, some of you, it is a twin connection, and you have some mission work that you're going to be doing out of that. But for others, this is, life purpose, mission work that you're supposed to be doing here for others. But when we have something that is destined, that is of greatness, be it a new career, new business, love of a lifetime, and when it is a big thing that we're supposed to be doing, it is the reason that we are here, that we chose to incarnate in this lifetime, and we keep dodging it. God will bring everything else to a screeching halt, and he will keep it stuck at a screeching halt until we finally take that leap of faith. What you don't know is as soon as you make that decision and take that leap of faith, everything is going to become beautiful. You've got all these little fireflies around that instrument. Fireflies. You've got fireflies here. Your life will become magical. Because there are some that we have more and more divine masculine that are listening to these readings. And even though it may sound corny, life is magical, your life will really become magical as soon as you make this decision, because you're in a living hell right now. For some of you, you just feel like you are truly in a living hell. Finances are a problem. Work is a problem. You're having conflict with friends. You're having conflict with family. Nothing seems to be going right. That is because you have got to make this decision. No joke. No more sitting, waiting. That decision has to be made. If you can just step into your power and make that decision, life will become beautiful. It will become magical. It really will. And you'll be amazed at how quickly things will turn around for you. Because for most of you, as soon as you make this decision, because they have laid the foundation, like this is the golden brick road. God, Jesus, the angels, they've already laid the foundation for you. All you have to do is take that first step. Just take the step. And you'll be amazed because everything else will immediately, like dominoes falling, one immediately after the other, everything else will fall into place, and all these hardships and struggles that you've had will be gone. You're the only person holding yourself back. It's the decision that you have to make. But trust and have faith. When you do that, your heart's desires will come true. This is the card as to what's recommended. You have 7 of Summer, and hopefully you guys can read it. At the bottom it says, let me actually hold it up. No more procrastinating. Your power comes from making a decision. Confusion that arises from over-analyzing the options. And if you can see there, he's like, his fingertip is illuminated, and he has this beautiful rainbow coming out of it. Because their recommendation is you have to make a decision. That's what everything is about. You have got to make a decision. Because your inaction, your inability to make that decision, is really what is keeping you stuck. Once you make it, you will benefit physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, intellectually, romantically. But you are the one that is responsible for the outcome. You can stay stuck in sadness, or you can make that decision and move forward where things are beautiful, where your dreams do come true. But they're saying the time to choose is now. Because those of you that are trying to make this decision, you have been stuck for a very long time. You've been overanalyzing, you haven't been putting a plan together, you haven't been developing your steps that you need to take, because it is going to involve, they're saying what they're recommending is that you stop procrastinating, you make a decision, and you put together an action plan for that. Because even though they can show us, okay, here's what you need to do, and here's where you're meant to go, this is the person you're meant to be with, or this is the career you're supposed to pursue, they can blast us in the face day and night about that. But we have to make a decision, and once we make that decision, well then, okay, how are we going to get there? A business is not going to create itself. If you finally make the decision, okay, Lord, I trust you, I'm going to take that step, I'm going to take that leap of faith, because I can tell that's where I'm destined, that's going to be beautiful, beautiful new beginning, lots of success. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm all in. I'm ready for magic. I'm ready for my dreams to come true. I'm ready to stop being stuck. So let's do it. But you have to devise the plan. Say, okay, I'm going to start that business. The business is not going to start itself. You're going to need to hire a lawyer. You need to work on a business plan. You need to get your financial backing, if that's something you need to get as well. You need to get some training, get some certificates, get a license. You need to get office space. So you have to make the decision, but you also have to put together an action plan. What am I going to do? What are the steps? What is the strategy? How do I get from here to having everything that I desire, to having the ship ready so it can sail forward? So it's not just making the decision, but it's putting together a plan and taking those steps. And that's what they're recommending that you do. Now, so, bottom of this deck, this is kind of like overarching energy. It's another major arcana. And it's release. Let go of the past, an ending that makes way for new opportunities. You can see here, sitting on a bench, all illuminated. There's this peacock here. But it's really illuminated up in her head area. This is a completely different shift in your life. So for those of you that this is love, it's a completely different person. Now most of you already know that person. You've already planted the seeds with that person, planted the foundation with that person, but you're not communicating. They're saying there's no communication between the two of you, but you know each other. Most of you, it's actually more than knowing each other, but it's a total shift. You have to release your old way of doing things. So for some of you, it's finally releasing another person. Because there are some of you, not many, where you're actually trying to decide between two people. It's like you have left the one person behind, but you've not totally left them behind. But you have to let them go. You have to release that person. For some of you, it's releasing the past with that person that made you feel unworthy of this new person of love, true love. So for those of you where you had a life lesson of, giving your loyalty to someone that's undeserving, learning, loving yourself and knowing that you deserve better, you've let that person go, but those emotions Finally, truly letting those emotions go so that you can start this new opportunity, this new love. Finally, truly move on into something better destined for you. But it's a totally different way of doing life, because for most of you that this is a love thing, you have been single for a very long time. It's going to be a total different way of doing things. Actually having someone in your space, someone living in your home, someone opening yourself up emotionally to someone, letting that wall down. But you have to let that wall down. It's got to crumble. That past has got to crumble in order to open up and have this new beginning, new blessing. And for those of you that, you're embarking on a new career field or new business, it's also a completely new way of doing things. You have to let go of how you used to do things. You have to let go of the old to have the new, and the new is going to be much better. And you know that because it's something that's been destined. Something that, God and the angels have been trying to line up for you for a very long time. Okay, let's see how far we can spread these out. Okay, let's pull some quick clarifiers and we're going to wrap this up. Okay, so 2 of spring. Okay, first card we have is the wife. It really could be wife, could be someone that's very maternal, a maternal female. We have thought. You see he's thinking, he's contemplating. Looks like he's having a hard time contemplating. He's got his head buried in his hand, face palming. And then we have the reunion. So for most of you, this is about love. Some of you, you're contemplating returning. I don't get for many of you that it was actually your wife. And you can change the sexes for these. If it sounds like it's your story and the sexes are backward, just swap the sexes. If it sounds like your story, it's your story. Just change the sexes accordingly. But they are a couple. These two are a couple. It ended, though. You see this skull? It ended. They're not together right now. It ended. Which is interesting because he has a lion here. It ended. They were saying that those of you this relationship, there's no communication. There hasn't been communication between the two of them. He had to face his fears and demons, but so did she. It's almost like there's been the ending of the two of them, the death of the two of them. That's brought him full force into having to face his demons, which we all have to do at some point. We all have to do that. That's why we're here on earth. We have to face our deepest fears. We have to heal. We have to learn. We have to grow so we can move forward to the things that will bring us happiness. But he's done that. Done a lot of healing. But now he's reflecting, okay, I'm seeing that should move forward, but he's contemplating reunion. So this is for some of you, it is a second chance. But for many, they aren't actually married. They're a couple, but they're not actually married. So it could be a divine couple, it could be twins, it could be soulmates. Now, if it's twins, the interesting thing about twins is twins are actually a divine husband and wife. They are. In the Bible, when it talks about, what God has brought together, let no man separate, that's talking about twin flames, is what that's talking about. Or twin souls, because they're each other's true other divine, they're each other's other half. They really are one. That is what God has brought together. That is one complete soul. There is a feminine side, there's a masculine side. They can come down here on earth as twin flames, twin souls. They are one. They are divine husband and wife. So for some of you, you are each other's twin. You're each other's other half. And you've gone apart. And he's contemplating coming back together. And for some, this is, she's very maternal. So for some, he's contemplating coming back together and starting a family together. It will be successful. It will be a bright future. but they're saying for some he's been wasting time. You see that time right there? Wasting a lot of time over contemplating, over analyzing. And for some, that time, you see how he's like looking toward her and she's looking away? So for some, there's been a lot of conflict, and because things have fallen apart, he's fearful that, okay, if I go in her direction, is she even going to give me the time of day? Or is now at this point, she over it, and has she moved on? Is she going to turn away from me? For some, it is a legitimate concern, but it is going to be successful. It is going to be successful. But the time has come to make that decision. Now, for balance, we have child and haughtiness and pleasure seekers. Now, child truly can be child, having a baby. Can also speak of new beginnings. Haughtiness is all about arrogance, conceit, pride, vanity, being very condescending, contempt. You know, like when it comes to peacocks, one of these cards actually had a peacock in it. Oh, it was this one. Yeah, that actually had a peacock in it. But peacocks, the male peacocks, they are brighter than the female. And, you know, they'll strut around very proudly. So for some, you had this couple had this new beginning, this opportunity together. But he arrogantly, or one of them arrogantly pushed away. I get for most, it was actually the male. You get this picture of these guys. Male peacocks are very bright and beautiful. But there was this new beginning, pushed it away. Arrogance, pride. And instead pursued the things, again, out of balance that would just give him temporary pleasure. Drinking with friends, drinking alone, partying, sexual escapades, other relationships, anything. You know, they always talk about, you know, we also try to balance our dark and our light. You know, you'll see comics where they'll have the little devil on one, you know, hovering above by one ear, and they'll have a little angel hovering by the other ear. You know, that's talking about balancing ourselves, the good and bad, good and evil. But we actually have to have both. I mean, we all have dark and light side. And we're meant to, because we come into balance. But when we get too far on one extreme, we're partying too much, we're drinking too much, we're having too many relationships, not even relationships, one night stands, but we're having things in extreme, we get totally out of balance. What led to this couple being separated? For some, this couple, they did have a child together. Or they conceived a child and the child wasn't born. But because of that, it freaked him out, and he pushed her away and started pursuing other activities and people and things to bring him temporary pleasure, didn't fill that void. Now he's done the healing, faced the things, ready to have a successful future, partner with someone, have his dreams come true. But that person that he can get those things with, push that away. And for some, it was this couple, they had a new beginning together, and same thing, it was pushed away. Instead, he pursued other things. That ultimately led to him going inward, facing his demons, doing that healing, doing that reflection, doing that contemplation, that meditation. So now he's healed, now he's ready, now he's wanting to have this partnership, have this bright future. I'm trying to think, okay, how do I get there from here? You know how they were pointing out that she's like looking away because he's like, dang, I really screwed that up real bad, real bad. For some, it was hurtful words. Some, it was flaunting other women in her face. For some, if there was a child, they're saying for some, he thought differently of her. Like, say, for example, if there was a child conceived, maybe he had thought that she had done that on purpose, or he thinks that she's, sometimes people think, okay, this person's trying to start a family, they're a gold digger, they're trying to find that stability. Or, if that, person had been used in the past, they're thinking, okay, this person is just trying to use me. But I get a sense, and whether there was a child involved there or not, that the one person, the male, the male thinks was questioning her intentions. Didn't think that she was this gift, this blessing. Thought it was smoke and mirrors and pushed it away and pursued those things, but now has realized through his healing and reflection that she is not as he had perceived her. That this really is a gift. But because of things that have occurred, okay, how do you get from this back to that? Yeah. Because these two have had some heartbreak shared between each other. Because on the dreamer, we have cheerfulness, celebration, happiness of the heart. We have sorrow. And then we have consolation. And again, this is the lesson. Okay. So for some, the lesson that was to be learned is to choose the right person, because for some there were 3 parties involved. And for some, he did not choose her, left her in a state of sadness. Instead, he went to someone else. And that didn't leave him happy. That didn't leave him satisfied. That left him again in a state of sadness. Feeling like his ship had sailed. Because the other woman, it didn't work out. So he chose this other woman. It did not work out. For some, she sailed off to go be with someone else. But it's when we hit our knees, it's when we hit rock bottom that we finally look up and ask for God's help. Like it's when we look back on it, once we've gotten past that, it's not easy for us to do it when we're going through it. We're going through it, we cannot look at it from this perspective. But once we have cleared that and we're on the other side and we can look back and reflect on it, we can realize, oh my gosh, despite how painful that was and how hard that heartbreak was and how hard that challenging was, that time was, that's what had to happen to finally have me hit my knees and look up and ask God, please help me. Please help me. Because I keep screwing this up. Please just help me. And you see how he's looking upward? So for some it was a threesome. He chose the wrong woman. For some he chose this person repeatedly. It left his partner in a state of sadness. But it didn't work out with that other person. It left him in a state of looking up like, okay, God, help me. Help me. And for some, they're saying that although this was a happy beginning, there was love, true love there, was something to celebrate. It was a lesson for both. So for her, it was a lesson so for both, it was a lesson of healing their hearts. Because you know how they were saying we'll be fearful of taking those steps. So for some, she had to heal her heart. Know that she is whole on her own. Love herself unconditionally. But again, she's learned that lesson because she's now ready to take that leap of faith. And for some, that misplaced loyalty, that's when they were talking about that, they were talking about this threesome where he kept going to the wrong woman, making the wrong choice. but because there was, for something, they're saying like he was feeling chained to her. Feeling chained, like couldn't escape. Like there's some hold on me, I can't escape this. But that's what was causing misplaced loyalty. But same thing, was finally able to free of that, heal himself, come to a state of loving himself. They're saying for some, where it was love triangle, he thought that one of them was a consolation prize, which is why he chose the other one. But he's now realized that she's not. See how the angel's extending an olive branch? But now in order to repair this, now that they both learned their lessons and they both are healed and ready to move forward down their destined path, they've both now stepped into their power. They're both ready to give their loyalty to someone and their love to someone where it's going to be requited, return, mutually beneficial. That an olive branch needs to be extended. Okay. 2 of winter. It's interesting. Okay. 2 of winter, what you're unaware of. You have the gift, despair, and falseness. Okay. So he's stuck between 2 instruments. You can see there's an instrument, there's an instrument. He's trying to make a decision. So, but he's just distraught. He's sick over trying to make this decision. So for some there's a decision of trying to decide, okay, do I move forward with this person or do I stay single? Do I stay alone? Do I stay with these things that are giving me temporary pleasure? For some, it's they were saying that he's now realizing she is not what he thought. Like he had this negative perception of her for some reason. It could be because there's a child involved. It could just be she was stirring up feelings from a past partner where he felt deep connection and it didn't end well. And he's thinking, okay, that's going to end up really negative as well. Or felt like she was a consolation, but he didn't. He questioned her. What are her motives? And what they're saying is so he's been sick with trying to make this decision because he has been thinking, okay, well, she's a liar, she's deceitful, she's like my ex-wife, my ex-girlfriend. And she's just going to hurt me and be cold. You know, cats are distant. They'll look at you, human, go get my food, clean out my litter box, but I don't have any other use for you. Go about, take care of my bidding, take care of me, and continue on. Most cats are like that. So what's unknown, he's not making this decision because he's afraid, okay, she's like the ex. She's cold, she's cold-hearted, she's not loving, she'll lie, she'll cheat, she'll be all about herself. And they're saying not loving, not warm. But what he's not aware of is actually she's a gift. She's not as he's perceiving her. So he's not making this decision because he's fearful of, okay, what if she's this when she's actually, it's a gift. It's a blessing. The way he's been perceiving her, thinking of her, or fearing that it's going to turn out is not right. It's not correct. So he's been stuck in his mind, overthinking, overanalyzing because of that. Okay. to that. I know those of you, when I say something quiet, you're like, you get so quiet sometimes. That's because I'm trying to hear what they're telling me, and they won't sometimes tell me the whole story because they say we're going to come back to that here in a second. So we're going to come back to it, whatever they're talking about. But if it is something that you guys need to hear, I will be loud enough that you can hear. If I'm ever mumbling quiet, that's because I'm trying to make sense of what they're telling me. And typically what you'll find is as you listen to the readings, down the line, they will clarify it, because sometimes they just, well, oftentimes when they do that, they don't want to give me the whole picture yet. Like they were talking about something here and they said, just a moment, pull the next cards and we're going to bring you back to that. So let's find out. Final card for clarification, 7 of Summer. We have Sweetheart. We have the Priest. And we have the Soldier. Now again, this is what is recommended. Okay. So, to keep it from being confusing, we're going to stick with the sexes that are on the cards that they're chatting about. Again, you guys can reverse those. Guys and gals, you can reverse it to fit your story. They're saying is he's in love with this woman. Been trying to make a decision about her. You know, no more procrastinating. Make a decision. Okay. You see how this priest is like cloaked. He's cloaked. He's cloaked in darkness. So there are things that he's been hiding. He knows to move forward with her, he's going to have to bare himself. He's going to have to become an open book. He's going to have to be honest. He's going to have to communicate the things that he has not shared with her. He's going to have to take off this dark cloak. And it's interesting because she's cloaked. She's wearing a yellow dress. Yellow is all about joy, happiness. He's cloaked in darkness, isolation. And she's cloaked in happiness and joy. He knows that she will bring him joy. She will bring him happiness. You can see how he's kind of like looking at her from the corner of his eyes. And she's just kind of standing forward. It's almost like she's looking at her iPhone. Like, yep, I don't care. I'm fine. But he's staring at her from the corner of his eyes. He wants her. She's his sweetheart. He loves her. But he's fearful because it is going to be a huge change in life. He is going to have to share. So for some, he's fearful that, okay, when I share these secrets, this is not going to turn out pretty. Also for some, sharing his emotions, opening up, opening his emotions. She's in yellow. And she's in yellow, and she's in yellow. Okay. So you have her in yellow, 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 and yellow. So he knows that she will bring him happiness and she'll bring him love. You've got the roses here as well. And she's wearing a rose in her hair, and she's got a rose on, and she has a rose on. So he knows she will bring him love. She will bring him happiness of the heart. She will bring him the things that he desires. But he's fearful about that. For some, it is fear about the past. You know how they were saying that for some it was like a love triangle. You see, she's in yellow, she's in like red and green. And you know there's green with envy. So for some, this other person, there was a lot of envy, there was a lot of jealousy, there was a lot of cheating, a lot of lies, deception, a lot of anger, which is why this falseness. So for some, it's choosing. Okay. So for some, where they're saying it's choosing between two people. I want to hold this up so you guys can see this. Okay. Hopefully, see it, not lose them. Okay. Choosing between two people. She's joy, happiness, heart, rose. gift, love. He's in between them. He's in between the two. So he has this woman and he has this woman. This woman is wrapped, she's dressed in yellow. Joy, happiness, she has a heart, a rose right there. Actually, it's above her heart center. True love, unconditional love. It's a gift. The other woman, cloaked in green, red, a lot of anger, jealousy, lies, deceit, pain, heartache. They're also saying coldness. So for those of you who are even trying to make a decision between two women or two men, you can change the sexes to two men. There is a distinct difference between the two, and you know it. It's accepting it and making that choice. And for some of you where it was someone from the past who's made you question this person's intent, if you look at everything, you will see that this fear, this worry in your head, you've created out of fear of not wanting, of not being in balance, not being ready to open up, share your emotions, the healing that had to take place. And the fear that, okay, if I do take this step, oh my gosh, what if it ends up hurting again? But you'll know. Because you can't get this person, you can't get her out of your mind. Now, they're saying she can't get you out of her mind either, although she has let go of the situation. So you see these roses next to her, and then she's like leaning on this red robe. Red also indicates passion. Roses are all about love. So although she's had passion, so this is like a robe, put it over her dress. So although she was completely wrapped in passion and love for you in the past, and then things came about that broke the two of you apart, that ended this, she's not standing on the robe. She's not using it to step on it to cross a muddy puddle. She's just taking it off for the time. She's taking a break. She's leaning on it. It's still there. It's still right beside her. And the love is still there. So when you make this decision, so for some of you, you're fearful of sharing the truth. You're fearful of opening up. You're fearful of opening to that connection. You're also fearful when you share those things with her, she's moved on. Because she does look disinterested. And for many, she has let go because of all the things that have transpired. She believes this is just not going to happen. This just isn't going to happen. I need to stop crying. I need to focus on me and focus on my path. And she has done that. But there's love still there. She still loves him. And he still loves her because he can't stop looking at her. But again, this card's about the recommendations. The recommendation is you have to open up. You have to be an open book. You have to share your feelings. You have to drop your cloak of darkness, all the things that you've kept hidden. And you have to be the soldier. Military members are very strategic. They plan, they develop plans, because you know how they were saying earlier, it's not just making that decision. The recommendations are stop procrastinating, make the decision, but it's also putting together those action steps, that plan. How are you going to get there? Because you can make the decision, okay, I am totally in love with this person. They are a sweetheart. They bring me joy. I've realized this is my other half. Okay, I don't have to worry about those things. You will have victory. You see that flag over top of that residence, that home, that castle? He's standing on green grass where things blossom. It's beautiful. You will have success. You're guaranteed success, but you have to take action steps. You have to be like a soldier, like a military member. You have to make your decision. Think through the steps, but for some of you, they're saying you've actually been overanalyzing for so long that you've actually thought, okay, if I do move forward with this person, what would I do? So for some of you, you've actually already thought through the action steps, but you have to do them. You have to do them. And they will help you with that. As soon as you have the faith to take that first step. You have to have the faith to take that first step. And they'll help you. So hopefully, And when you do that, you're going to get out of the state of sadness. I said, look at the bottom of the deck. So for those of you in this situation, most of you, it is love related. You've just been distraught, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to make your decision, overthinking, overanalyzing. You've made yourself sick. And that's why everything else in your life has been at a standstill. Money, work, family, friends. As soon as you make the decision, you're going to get out of this state of sickness, sadness, isolation. Look, he's even laying in bed by himself sick. No one's even sitting in the chair next to him. Because you've been in a state of living like a priest on your own. You may have found temporary pleasure, but it's not fulfilled you. And now you're sick with trying to make this decision. You're trying to get your entire life moving forward. Everything is stuck. Everything is miserable at this point. And you don't have your other half at your side. But you can have that. Everything that you desire, you can have that. It's at your fingertips. It really is. But it all hinges on you making that choice. And as soon as you make that choice, you will get out of this state. And you will have your companion with you. No longer having to be alone. So I think that's beautiful. I think that that's beautiful because it's all right there. Everything you need, all the pieces that you need, they've even worked out the path for you. You just have to take that step. So I hope that you have the courage to do that. I do wish you all an amazing week filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings. Hello, I am back. Apologies, you guys are going to get a little bit of editing because I started to clean up and get ready to leave. Because I'm going to watch my nephew play soccer. He's got these soccer tournaments and they're actually in my local area. Can't wait to see him play. He's a little rock star. But after our lengthy reading, ready to get cleaned up and ready to go, I stopped the camera and they told me no, I need to actually pull Angel Answer card for you guys. And I'm like, no, can we do it next time? And they're like, no, you have to do it. So apologies, it is going to be a bit of a longer reading. You know, when I do pray and prepare and do these readings for you all, I ask that they give me at least one message for all of you. Maybe that's a bad thing because the readings get longer and longer, but I hope that this is helping you guys and that the length is not too much for you. If it ever is, just send me a message and let me know. But we're going to have a little extra time real quick because there is some importance to the Angel Answers cards. So thankfully, I had not put those away yet. So if you can think of a question that you have, I'm going to pull one Angel Answer card. Are you ready? Okay. Yes. And I am going to get the book because there are two yeses in this deck. That's not the one with the exclamation. Still a yes. But it's not like the other one where it's... Okay, so this yes, it says the answer to your question is yes. If you want a more detailed reply to your inquiry, you can ask additional questions and pull more cards. Okay, we're going to pull another card for you. 2 more. Okay, you guys get 2 more Angel Answer cards. So, top and bottom. Okay. So you're going to get the card from the top and you're going to get the card that's from the bottom. So, question still wasn't answered. You have in the near future. Okay. And the bottom is trust. And I'm going to read these real quick. Let's do that. Okay. In the near future, what you are asking about will occur very soon, so you won't have to wait much longer. Stay optimistic and continue upon your current path. Be open to receiving. And lastly, I'll leave that out there for you guys. And lastly, let me find the book. Is trust. Hopefully you can see that with no glare. It's like Jesus is sitting behind him with his arms wrapped around him. It's beautiful. Hopefully you guys can see that without any glare. This is a time for trust. Sometimes there is no yes or no to a question. There are situations where we are better served by not knowing what is to come so that the miracle can unfold before our very eyes. Like children opening to a gift, part of the magic of our lives is found in the joy of surprise. Trust that your angels have something amazing in store for you, even if they can't quite tell you yet what it is. And it really is having complete trust. You know, they were saying at one point in the reading about, even though you can't see why you keep being guided to this person or this situation, this career change, this starting your own business, you can't tell why, but it is something that's destined for you. It is your destined greatness. That we just have to trust it. Like if we can tell that that is something we're destined for, that is what's going to lead us into greatness. That's what's going to lead us to these miracles, lead us to life turning around in all areas that we've been stuck. But it doesn't make sense because it's a complete career change, or it's a complete different way of doing life. It's a completely different person than we're typically with, that we're normally with. It's a complete change in lifestyle. It's opening up emotionally. It's sharing our home with someone. But it's complete change. But it's divinely guided, and it's something that requires trust. Even when we can't see it. You can see he's sitting here in a meditative state. He can't see this massive angel standing behind him, overlooking, overwatching, and overseeing everything. And he can't feel Jesus with his arms on him. But it requires complete trust to know that to take that leap of faith on complete trust, know that you are fully supported. They wouldn't lead you down that path, because for those of you in this situation, you know what you're being guided to do. You know the decision that you're being guided to take. It's fear that has kept you stuck. They wouldn't be leading you to something that's going to cause all your dreams to come true. Really a dream come true, a blessing, a gift from God, if it wasn't meant to be. But it does require faith. It does require trust. The Bible, the biggest thing that we're always told about is that we have to have faith. Absolute 100% faith. And that's required. Because they're saying you can't see this support behind you. You can't see that they've taken care of all the details. You can't see this beautiful thing that they have ready for you. But you are going to have to trust that they've got it for you. And you're going to have to trust the signs that they've given you. So, hopefully that helps everyone. Enjoy, for those of you celebrating the holiday here in the States, enjoy your holiday weekend. For everyone else, enjoy your weekend. Welcome to June. Wishing you lots of love, joy, and blessings.